What's up, guys? This is Chef 24/7, and this is another how-to for you. Today we're gonna go old school. We're gonna go soul food, but we're gonna do soul food with a healthy twist. Today we're doing Presbyterian soul food. Now, what's Presbyterian, you may ask? Presbyterian is pretty much you're a seafood eater. You eat vegetables, seafood, stuff like that. So imagine a vegetarian, but you're throwing some shrimp on that salad. But we're gonna go old school. We're gonna do some meatless greens. Oh, I know y'all like greens, but we're not gonna do no mustard greens. We're gonna do it a little different. We're gonna smother some collard greens and some kale for some fried smothered greens. You know what I'm saying? And then we're gonna throw some fried fish in there just for sport because it's soul food. Gotta have something fried to go with it. You know what I'm saying? On a nice bed of rice. It's gonna be delicious. So let's go on here and let's step into the steps and see what you need to do.
All right, let's get this party started. Let's get our collard greens clean. So first we're gonna put our collard greens in a clean sink, and we're gonna get ready to fill it up with some nice cold water. You don't want to use hot. And there we go. I got some salt to go in our little bath to clean our greens. 2 tablespoons ought to do it. You know what I'm saying? A tablespoon. It all depends on how you feel. You don't have to get too heavy with the salt. Just a little bit, just to kind of get it clean. We get our ice together. We're going to throw some ice in the water. And you're wondering why ice in no cold water? It's already cold. I'm going to explain that in just a second. But anyway, fill your zinc up with your water. Throw your ice cubes in there to make sure, you know what I'm saying, you want it at a good cool ice bath. You don't have to have it freezing cold, but you want it cold enough to where it really cleans your greens. You know what I'm saying? And there you go. See, get up and mix that salt up, and you want them to soak. You want to really fill up the zinc till it covers the greens at least almost completely, and then you just want to let it sit for a few minutes after you done cleaned them around.
Okay, it's important to use an ice bath when you're cleaning your greens because you never know if your greens have already been pre-washed or not. So when you put your greens into the salt water mixture, you don't want a lot of salt, but you want a good bit. You want a good bit of ice. You want it nice and cool because that cool gonna knock that dirt off of it instantly. You want to kind of slur your hand around in it and let it soak so that way the dirt and the excess can get out of there.
All right, let's get ready to clean our greens. So first of all, let me show y'all the stem. You want to cut along the line of the stem, or you could instantly just peel it off with your hand. It's quite easy. Most people like to break the stem, and you could always break the stem and use it for a broth. I'm going to get back on the broth situation later on. Always save your scraps. You can make a nice broth out of it. So anyway, you see how the leaf is made. You see how the line goes along, and you just want to simply peel it off. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you save those stems now. Okay guys, so we'll get ready to pop the ingredients up for your fantastic no meat greens. All right, we need 1 bushel of collard greens. Most of the time collard greens are pretty much big. 3 bushels of kale, or 1 nice size big bag. 3/4 cup of pickle juice. Half a cup of jalapeno juice. It could be replaced with vinegar, but the pickle and jalapeno juice help it gives a umph and flavor where you won't miss the meat. 3/4 to a cup of diced onions, 2 tablespoons of choice seasoning oil. I use, of course, my own Chef 24/7's Hustle 9000, and 1/4 cup of minced onion. Oh yeah, it's about to get good for sure. And as y'all see, all of these have been peeled, saving the stems for the stock, and we're gonna get into the dicing process. Now make sure you're extra careful when you're dicing. Make sure that you know what you're doing. You know, I don't want you to hurt yourself. A lot of people get hurt. So first thing we're going to do is roll all our leaves really tight. It don't have to be uniform cut because it's collards. It's going to smother anyway. But you want it cut at a decent size. You don't want it too big, too small. As you see, I did a split down the middle, and I took my time. I didn't cut the whole thing, you know, just safety for the hands. And I did half cut down the middle, then cut in little pieces. And as you can see, nicely cut pieces, nicely cut little squares, and there go our collards. They're clean, they're cut, and they're about to get ready to start getting cooked. All right guys, we finishing that up, and we're about to get ready to start the cooking process and start frying down our greens. All right guys, we about to start the cooking process. We're gonna get our cooking oil in there and get it nice and heated up real good. And as we getting it ready to heat up, we got our onions about to get prepared, nicely minced. Our stock is working on the right hand side, and we are about to go, baby. So okay, we about to throw in our minced onion in our hot cooking oil. And you want to cook it at a medium high heat. You know, you don't want it too high, but you want it high enough to where it does cook real good, but not to burn your onions. And you want to cook them till they translucent. And once they get translucent, you throw in your garlic, and you want to turn it down maybe a notch. You know what I'm saying? It's very delicate. Just kind of keep a good eye. You don't want to burn your seasoning, and you want it to cook a little bit. I'm using a wooden spoon to kind of help if it sticks anything. And we start with our first handful of collards. Now, you heard me say first handful. So it's a process to make this work perfectly. You put one handful of collards, one handful of the other green, one handful of collards, one handful of the other green. You want to repeat the process until at least you get halfway in the amount of greens that you have, and then you're going to start adding your stock once it starts to smother. But you want to cook it down. The grease and the onion and the garlic is helping with the flavor, and it's going to start to change color. The greens is going to start to slowly smother and shrink, and as you see, you can start adding your kale. As you seen, that was probably a little bit more than a handful there, but I got plenty of kale. And you want to cook it down alongside the greens. Similar process to the greens. Going to add your mustard powder, and mustard powder is not expensive. You can find it at a store for maybe like $2. Your seasoned olive choice, as you see my Chef 24/7 seasoning. And you want to just get like 2 nice tablespoons. You know what I'm saying? I added a little half, you know, just for a little for it to taste. You know, you could work with your taste bud. A lot of people like it just a little bit more than the other with some seasoning. So we letting that smother down really good. Give it a nice little turn, and then let it kind of just do its thing. Just turn it occasionally. You don't have to turn every few seconds. Just keeping a really good watchful eye on your greens as it's working.
Okay, when you're doing the process of collards, kale, remember, you want to keep them cooked down a little bit. You want them to go down a little bit before you add more. That way you have quality control. You're not pouring them all in at one time, and it gives everything an opportunity to cook evenly. And you want to cook it till those juices start to show a little bit from that oil, onion, garlic, and green mixture.
Okay, y'all see we about to jump into our stock. Y'all see the shrimp, scraps, and the veggies. What's stock though?
Stock is simple. A stock is pretty much your peelings, your scraps or whatever, boiled in some water, probably with a little seasoning, a little extra, and you let it set for 3 hours. You strain it out, and then you have perfect stock. That's where you get your chicken stock from, your beef stock. You can do the same with any kind of meat item or even vegetable. You can do a vegetable stock. You could boil some broccoli ends, boil some cauliflower ends, throw a little onion peeling in there, throw a lemon peeling in there, whatever you want it to do. Long as you drain it out at the end, you let it set for about 3 hours after you boil it. Once you boil it, you turn it to a low simmer, and you just let it do its thing. All those flavors, all that juice is going to secrete out of whatever you're making the stock out of, and it's going to make your flavor major.
Alright guys, y'all see I've added the last of my extra kale, and as you see, a lot of that mixture has already cooked down. Now we're going to add a little bit of stock. Now I do a ladle at a time. I'm going to do a couple of ladles. The whole goal is you ultimately want to have enough stock, or you can throw in a little water just to kind of loosen it up a little bit with the flavor. You know what I'm saying? Make it extend. You can kind of go water, stock if you like that. But the whole goal is to slowly simmer it and cook it into it. And you see how the juices are starting to form. And some of that's from the stock, some of that's from the greens, the onions. All of that's from the beginning. And it's making a fantastic base. Now we're going to go ahead and throw some little kale. Get that in there, cook the last of our kale. We got all our collards, as you see, as it's starting to cook down. Really nice. And we're going to add some more stock in there shortly. But we want our greens to cook down completely first, but we don't want them to burn, so we slowly, gradually add stock. Now we're going to add our pickle juice, and we're going to add our jalapeno juice, and we're going to let that cook down just a little bit more. See how that looks? And we got all those flavors working together. It's very important that you don't just fill it up with stock, that you gradually add in all your ingredients as they go in, because it all helps to bring out the actual flavor of those greens and get it real good, almost to the point where it's right over the greens. As y'all see, I've emptied out my stock, and we're gonna throw a little water in there in just a second, just a little bit. You see, ultimately, you're going to slowly cover the greens. And as you see, as they start to cook, you can bring your temperature back up almost to the high point, right under the high point of your stoves, and you can let it cook till it gets into a boil. And as you see that slowly flicker, see that flicker of water, that's what you're gonna have it simmer at. But right now we want it to come up to a complete high boil. So right now, as you see, is a rolling boil going right now. Little bubbles going around everywhere, doing a little light cleaning, keeping it clean. And as you see, we getting closer and closer to the point where we just gonna simmer it and let it cook down. But right now, we just gonna keep a watchful eye over it for the next few minutes until it really starts getting a real good boil. Okay, this has been about an hour to almost an hour and a half into it. I let mine's low cook simmer. You still see it's on a rolling boil. I let mine's go for at least a couple of hours just because I like it really cooked down.
Now, I know your greens are going to take a while, but trust me, they are definitely worth it. You want to take as much time as you can. The longer you let them set, the better the flavor. Even if you cut it off and you let it cool off and set, that flavor will still rise. And once you eat them, when they first come out, they're going to be good. They're going to be good, but they're going to be better if you let them set. Okay, once you handle fish, remember, want to coat evenly. When you're coating the whole fish, think about, like, watch my hands. See how my hands are clawed? You're dipping them in the flour and you turn it. See what I'm saying? You in, take it in, you cuff in, bring it back out. You're going to use your thumbs. Boom. That's how you're coating your fish. Boom. Coating your fish like that. Boom. Boom. You're going to get a good, clean, even coat. You catch in the middle. If your fish is split, if you got fillets, which is just a fish with no bones, it's even easier. But for this one, it requires some fish with some bones. It would be soul food, baby.
Okay, guys, as y'all see, I got my fish. And kind of spoiler alert, I made this dish earlier in that day, so this is my second time making it. That's how good it is. So y'all see, I'm evenly coating my fish. I start with the powder, shaking off the excess. And as y'all saw, I did the claw method. I rotated my fish. You're going to see it again. Rotate it. You watch my hands. You see me stuffing, rotate stuff, and then you knock off the excess. See how evenly coated that is? Now watch how all the excess come off easily. I'm making sure every bit of the meat is exposed to the actual fish fry. And this is my mom's recipe. Can't share that one with y'all. Family heirloom right there. But I can tell y'all could get any kind of fish fry and it works perfectly. Let me show y'all one more time the claw method. I'm using 2 more pieces, getting them prepared. It's always good to pre-prepare your fish. Get it already battered and covered. Sometimes you might have to go back over it one more time before you fry, but it just makes the process a whole lot easier instead of having waiting every time. Because if you're using this with just your hands, you're gonna get a lot of clunked up stuff on it. You know, it's still moisture hitting the hand. And I'm going to put the marinade recipe up so y'all could get an idea if y'all want to marinate y'all fish like that. It's just simple seasoning and a mustard of choice. The only reason why mustard for this particular type of fish, it just helps to make the coat extra like golden brown and extra crispy. So it does this thing.
For your fish, you could buy any kind of fish fry. I use my mom's personal recipe, but it is a recipe I cannot share. Family heirloom, gotta shut up about it. But when you're seasoning your fish, you can season your fish really any kind of way you want. But the basic simple marinade for a normal southern for that extra crisp, you want to like a 1/4 cup of mustard. You could do 1/8 Creole, 1/8 yellow. You could do 1/8 Dijon, 1/8 regular. You could do the whole 1/4 yellow, whole 1/4 Dijon. It doesn't matter. Throw a little mustard in there, helps the coat and stick. Throw some seasoning on there, and you want it to set at room temperature for at least 30 minutes to an hour. You can put it in a Ziploc bag if you want to. It helps bring in the flavor, but you want it to set. You don't want to fry it too fast. You want it at room temperature so it could cook all the way and it could cook evenly, perfectly, and it'll help preventing burning, crisping, and you have the outside cook but the inside not. It helps better for cooking.
All right, let's get to the front. As y'all see, I have a old wonky tone, you know what I'm saying? Hey, get it how you live right now. But anyway, you see I'm doing it. Wait till it get crisp on one side, rotate on the other. I suggest y'all use a fork Sometimes I don't be thinking, I just grab the first thing I see. But as you see that nice crisp, that's from that coating method. That's from getting an even coat and letting it set out at perfect room temperature. I mean, now look at it. It didn't take long. It only takes maybe 3.5 to 4 minutes on both sides. Mind you, this is whole fish. Now, if you got a bigger piece of fish, you're going to want to let it set, add like a few more minutes to it. Add like at least 2.5 to 3 minutes. But you can tell the difference. You know what I'm saying? Bigger piece of fish, I say go maybe 5 minutes on each side, equivalent to 10 minutes. Smaller pieces like the ones you see me dropping in this nice hot grease, you know what I'm saying? You could go them for about at least 3 to 4 minutes on each side. So you see him going ahead. I'm gonna show y'all one more time the coating method. You see me getting everything kind of poured on it, opening up the inside, making sure it's coated evenly. You know what I'm saying? Getting all up in there, you know what I'm saying? Taking my time rotating. You know what I'm saying? Now, as y'all see, getting it all done while my fish is frying. Doing this thing, boy, it look nice over there. I ain't gonna lie, this is an old video that I'm watching and dubbing over, but this is making me quite hungry.
Wow!
I'm gonna explain the oil drizzle on top of the rice. It's old school, you know what I'm saying? Like when you're cooking, same thing when you're making that stock. When you're frying proteins or fish or something like that, or seafood in a grease or whatever kind of grease you use, those juices still secrete out. So that juices are in that grease. So old school people, old school mama, daddy, grandpa, you're gonna use at least a little tablespoon and drizzle over it. It just brings about a little bit more flavor, kind of like dumplings the rice a little bit as the meat start the juices start to flow into the rice, and the greens make it perfect. This was our how to do for the day. We got more coming. If you got any suggestions, make sure you like, share, subscribe. You know what I'm saying? Make sure you follow it somewhere right here. And you can always email us at anime4deux@gmail.com. Put in a comment food suggestion. Put in a comment anime suggestion. We got all sorts of stuff for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So now I'm about the multi-shadow clone jitsu. Didn't work, huh? What if I... Well, I can't instant transmission anyway. I'm Chef 24/7, Senpai or Sensei, whatever one you want to put. And I'll catch y'all for the next how to. Peace.